Hi and welcome. I'm trying to learn space science. Today, satellites, moons and rings. And after we have done it, we're gonna do stretching. And if you participate in the stretching, then it's at your own risk. So far, everything we have looked at in the solar system revolves around the sun. However, the moon orbits the Earth. Okay, we're talking about the planets. The Mercury, Venus, Earth, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. They are all revolving, orbiting the sun. And now we're having some other things which are orbiting around something else than the sun. The moon orbits the Earth. It is our planet's own natural satellite. Okay, the moon is a natural satellite of the Earth. Most other planets have moons as well, as do many asteroids and dwarf planets. Okay. The other planets of the solar system also have oftentimes moons, and they are then satellites. All moons seem to be satellites, and they say that some asteroids have moons, and some dwarf planets have moons. Indeed, Jupiter is like a miniature solar system, boasting at least 67 satellites. Saturn has 67 moons, at least. 67 moons are there. 4 of them, called Io, Ganymede, Callisto and Europa, are substantial in size and spherical. Okay, 4 of the moons of Jupiter are quite big and are round. They are called the Galilean moons after their discoverer Galileo. Around, I think it was in the 15th century, there lived the person Galileo Galilei in Italy, and he was looking a lot in the sky and was looking at the stars and planets and was writing down what they're doing, and he studied them. And so in his honor, 4 of them are named after him, the Galilean moons. Io, Ganymede, Callisto and Europa. Maybe did he even discover them, and that is the reason why they are named all together after him. Each moon is a unique world, as rich in geology as any planet. They're saying the moons have their own story, basically. They have a different setup. They have their own geology. They are probably primordial, that is, they formed around Jupiter, in a dusty disk like the solar nebula. They formed somehow around Jupiter, but smaller while the planet itself was growing. They're saying around of Jupiter, while Jupiter was growing, there was a lot of dust around Jupiter, and out of that these 67 moons have grown. This dust had accumulated to places together, stick together, and then it was a moon. The smaller moons are probably asteroids ensnared by Jupiter's mighty gravity. I don't know what the term ensnared means, but here's what I understand from it, or what may be possible. We suggest asteroids, but Jupiter has catched them with the gravity, and now we're inside of the orbit of Jupiter. Some of Saturn's and Uranus's moons are large, spherical and primordial. I don't understand the word. Primordial, but others are small. Okay, Uranus and Saturn have both also moons, like Jupiter, and some are quite big and also round. Some are spherical and other ones are irregular gravitational cavities. So that means they have irregular gravitation. Neptune is the only giant planet that has just captive moons. Of the terrestrial planets, only the Earth and Mars have satellites. I don't understand the part of Neptune. Just captive moons, I don't understand. But Mars and Earth, they have all, these are terrestrial planets, so we have terrestrial planets, they are out of rock and iron. The other ones are gas or ice. Mars's 2 are irregular. Mars has 2 moons. odd-shaped rocks probably captured from the nearby asteroid belt. Mars has also two big rocks. They are irregular shaped. And Earth's moon is a special case. The Earth has a very special moon. It likely formed when a protoplanet crashed into the newly formed Earth, creating a ring of debris around the young planet, which later cooled into its satellite. What they're saying is that their best theory or idea how the moon came about is that another planet crashed into the Earth and a lot of debris happened there. A lot of things got to the side, so it crashes and things broke apart. These things were propelled into space. They all were just when hanging around there, but over time they all accumulated together in the one big rock moon. All the giant planets have rings, the most famous being Saturn's. They are composed of immeasurable numbers of fragments, each like a mini satellite. Okay, we're saying that all the giant planets have rings of asteroids around them. I think that's what I understand. Or rocks. And the most famous, most biggest one is the one of Saturn. Saturn has quite a lot of stones and rocks flying around it. These particles are so numerous that seen from afar, the rings appear solid. Okay, what I'm saying is, there's so many of these rocks, but if one looks from afar, they will all merge together and it looks as if it would be everywhere rocks, so solid street basically. Saturn's ring particles are made of ice, varying in size from microscopic to a few meters across. Okay, they're out of ice and some are very small, others are a few meters big around Saturn. Uranus's rings are made of carbon-rich particles in the range of 0.2 meter to 20 meters across. Okay, carbon-rich. So, I said Saturn had out of ice, and now Uranus has out of carbon. It's all its rock satellites around it. Some are quite small, 20 centimeters, others are 20 meters big. Neptune and Jupiter probably have microscopic ring particles. Okay, we are also thinking that Neptune and Jupiter have some ring particles around them. I'm just wondering why the satellites which are circling around the Earth, the human-made satellites for television and so on, are in a different position than the moon is. They are quite near, they are just, I don't know, a few hundred kilometers or so over the Earth. But the moon is 300,000 kilometers far from the Earth. And I'm wondering why it is. Which means we have something to find out over the coming time, why some things orbit further away from the Earth as others. That was the space science part. If you were here for space science, you can go directly to the next part of space science. If you stay here and participate in the stretching, then it's not at your own risk. The legs are standing a bit more than shoulder wide apart and the breathing in and to the arm side. And breathe out, go over to one side. Breathe in back into the middle. And breathe out, go over to the other side. In into the middle. And out the arms down. Breathe again in. And out and one hand slides down the leg and the other shoulder stays down. Breathe again in. And out and take one out. Breathe in and out the rib cage. And breathe out back into the middle. Breathe again in. And out and one hand slides down the leg. The other shoulder stays down. Breathe in. And out and take one arm over. Breathe again in and open the rib cage. And again out back into the middle. Now have the feet standing together. And breathe in and lift the arms up. And breathe out, bring one arm again down. Breathe in and reach. And out into the middle. Breathe in and reach. And out again down. Breathe in and reach. And out and up. And both arms down. Again, the legs shoulder wide apart. Breathe in and we're doing shoulder circles. Just keep on breathing. Back, up, in front and down with the shoulders, in and back, in front and down, and now backwards, in front, up, back, and down. And now, breathe in and lift the shoulders up. And breathe out, let them fall down. Again in. And out. Breathe in and lift the arms up. And reach always with one arm high up. Pretend to take an apple hanging high on an apple branch. So turn it a bit around and then wrap it out. And over to the next exercise. Legs wide apart. Arms up to a T, breathe again in. And out, shift over to one side. Breathe again in, into the middle. And out over to the other side. Again in. And out and leaning onto the knees. Breathe again in. And out and bring one arm in front. In and back. Out the other one in front. In and back. And out the other one in front. In and back. Out in the front. In and back. And out and hanging down. Just keep normal breathing. Breathe in. And out. Again in. And out over to one leg. Breathe in. And out over to the other leg. Breathe in. And out go into the middle. And now close the feet, but keep on hanging down. Breathe again in. And out. Again in. And out come slowly with the down, back up and back at the top and backwards, shoulder, shoulder. Now have the toes pointing to the outside and around an ulnar length space between the heels. Breathe in and lift the arms up. And breathe out and sink down and place your elbows against the inside of the knees. Breathe in and straighten up. And breathe out and come with the back up. Breathe in. And out again down. Breathe in, straighten up. And out again down. Breathe in. And out back into the garden pose. Breathe in, straighten up. And breathe out, come slowly up in one straight line. And you come down. And the next pose, the seahorse pose, have a good standing leg. Bring the heel of a mobile leg on top of the knee of a standing leg. Do this only if you can do it without injuring yourself. Breathe again in. And out and sink down. And we're coming up again. And on the other side. Heel of a mobile leg on top of the knee of a standing leg. Breathe in. And out and sink down. Up again. Legs wide apart, we're breathing in and going down. Let's breathe again out. In and up. Out and down. In and up around. And out. Again in. And out and breathe in and close the legs. And breathe again out. It was a stretching. I thank you very much and